of saying, am I worried senseless about something that doesn't matter? Does this matter in the big picture? You know? Does it matter if every single dish in the kitchen is clean before I go to bed? How much does that actually matter? And there are people who are obsessed by things like that to the point that it degrades their quality of life. And that's where that tool of Tobias is so powerful, is cutting out the BS that's degrading your quality of life because you're projecting that people are going to think you're a bad wife if your dishes aren't done, or remembering your mother saying that only lazy people leave a dish in the sink before they sleep. And in the meantime, your kids want your attention, your husband wants to make love, and you're doing the dishes. So what's that? 2% of your processing power? You could play with the kid, you could have sex with your husband, and you could do the dish tomorrow. Imagine the quality of life improvement that could happen in the next 2 hours. But instead, you're in the kitchen listening to mom and projecting what the neighbors are going to think if they knew that you left that cereal bowl in the sink all day long. And that's life. This is life for a lot of people. That's where they live, with this going on 24/7. And if it's not the dishes, it's the money, or it's the kids, or it's their hair, or it's their fat belly, or it's their clothes, or, you know, what am I going to do about the car payment? You know the fears more than we do even. And that's where it doesn't matter, needs to be evaluated, because you're here to experience. Guaranteed each and every one of you has experienced enough fear about the past yelling at you and the future being projected. You have done it. You're masters. You have a master's degree in that. You have done your credits in that department. You do not need any further for graduation. So let's get on to the next course, please. Right? Don't fill up on the bread. Right? Isn't that what they say? You go to the nice restaurant, you're hungry, they put the basket of bread out, and you think, oh, this is good bread. Next thing you know, you've eaten 3 pieces, and you think, dang, I'm not going to be hungry when my meal comes. Okay. So a little restraint in the bread course. Let's set that bread aside. You can have a little more later. No one's saying you can't have to let it go completely. We know it's been fun, but the appetizers are on their way. And for you guys, essentially, you're waiting for dessert to come. And somewhere in the middle of like eating this great meal, you've decided to fret about the calories. It's like, okay, this is a special dinner. Okay, one meal of the year, you don't think about calories, that's the meal we're at. Dessert is coming. And they bring that whole tray, you know, when you get to pick. Veronica swears dessert is a visual experience. She says, do not explain dessert. Show dessert. Then you know. If you see it, you know which one you want. They talk about it, you think, they show it. Yes, please, one of those. So the dessert tray, the guy has just opened the door of the kitchen. With his back, you know how they do that? You can hear that sound that those kitchen doors make. And he's got the tray of desserts, and he's just getting to the point where he's turning around enough for you to start to see that one of those looks like chocolate cake, and there's got to be some other stuff behind it because that cake's really tall, that cake, you know? And you're like, oh, but I'm not sure. I think I should worry about calories right now. And that's where we go. Okay, so will you come back next Wednesday, please? Because we need to talk about this. Because that's not the moment. That's not the place for that to be your concern. Not on your special one night in a year dinner out with your honey for pick a thing, Valentine's or your anniversary or that special night. That special night isn't about counting calories night. But your habit is to count calories, be in fear, worry, upset. How's it going to look? What people are going to think? And so the guy's coming around the corner with the dessert tray on your special night, and the habitual response says, you need to worry. And your spiritual choice says, no thank you. I don't need a bathing suit in winter. I'm happy with my jacket. It's too cold for bikinis right now. Just as that is a choice, so is the choice to worry about calories in that moment. But fear is habituated so deeply that most people are unconscious of most of them. And the brain runs with it because it's been taught to. The brain's very good at that. Thank goodness, or else you'd stop breathing and your blood wouldn't move. Go ahead.
So, following that,
yeah.
if I'm reading between the lines, it sounds like this point in this lifetime is actually dessert is coming soon on our special night. Is that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. You are at desserts coming soon on your special night, and you know what happens after dessert? Going home with your honey. So
for the real dessert.
Yeah, exactly. So do you want to, right now, after you've had the bread, you've had the appetizers, you've held hands under the table, everything's looking exciting, you've had this amazing experience, are you going to wreck it by whining about your diet right before the dessert course and sort of, you know, buzzkill the whole evening? You guys are at that point on the path to ascension. So right now, because you're full of all this experience, it's very easy for habitual response to take you into those experiences again. It's very easy to worry about calories because you're full of calories. They're taking up a lot of your brain space. But you have free will and you have spiritual choice to say, I know the dessert guy's coming, and I know my honey wants to go home with me after this wonderful meal. So I'm going to keep the evening focused on the moment as it's evolving, rather than going into the past or projecting in the future and changing the direction or the trajectory of the evening to a lower vibrational, less fun, less nookie state.